And now it's time to introduce our keynote partner at Fjord Qudra, which is Norwegian thin British AI consultancy, also focuses on research and development investments. The keynote speaker is an AI visionary, international business leader, known also from the Singularity University. Please welcome to the stage, Patrick Halford.
Okay, hey, thank you very much for that. And I will use my deploy. So as you can tell, I am a Kuopio boy. Actually, I live in Sotkanimi, which is just south of here. I'm going to be actually running back to my laptop in a minute to do a demo, but I will try and run this from here. This is actually the best day for me every year in Kuopio, where the fresh bus comes. Maybe some of you have been to that international market. It's actually not even a British, I think they are Dutch or something, but I love this day. Let me see if this works. First of all, you want to ask a question while I'm talking. I'm happy to take it now, but also we'll have a proper Q&A after it. And then I will stay to the end of the event as well. So if you want to ask questions, then so, okay, just a bit of background. So I run a global business. So we run workshops. 3 weeks ago, I was in Brazil, in Sao Paulo, in UAE as well, recently in California. So we run workshops with corporates and SMEs and think tanks all over the world around thinking about how leadership teams and boards can use AI. And I will show you some of the things that we're doing in a little bit. Hi there, Anina. This is one of my partners, my business partner over there. So, first of all, I get a lot of support from many of these organizations. My new friends here down at JCI, who thank you very much for inviting me. But there, within this kind of small area, there are some very interesting ecosystems and organizations that we can all take advantage of. Obviously, the chamber are up there at the Nomopolis, yeah. But then obviously the city are in city. But all of these organizations are super helpful. So I get a lot of support in terms of organizing activities, but also getting advice around markets and, growth initiatives around the region. So really, you can take advantage of a lot of this. Quite interesting set of insights to look at. We could, for example, go up here and say, let's check out what's going on in and around Kuopio. So maybe I want to go in, zoom in on healthcare ecosystems and see what's happening. Maybe I'm interested in water or biotech, or actually what we could do is let's go down to some of these other areas and maybe see regional cooperation, what's in there. Okay, let me zoom in. And if I click on one of these, what it does is it takes me back into the source. And it should point me at the website where it's actually pulling that source. Yeah, here we are. So what it does is it actually pulls up the data from the mind map, which you created from all of the sources that you asked for. So this is like super powerful for everything, for your career, for doing research, for analyzing companies, competition, technology trends, all of that kind of stuff. And it's like totally free. So, and I can give a deeper demo on this later on as well. So, and then the other thing that you can do is you could, for example, create a podcast. So what it will do is if I load this, it'll actually generate the audio podcast based on all of these sources here. So they will get, let's just keep it out quick. Turn the volume up a little bit on my machine.
When you think of Eastern Finland, you probably picture, serene lakes, quiet forest.
Anyway, what it's doing is pulling in all of that data, creating a podcast. You can then download that podcast. I'll go back up to my my presentation. You can go download that podcast as an audio file. Then you can dump it into, say, Descript and get the text out of it. And then all of a sudden, you've also got another source of data, podcast translated into text, which you can then manipulate in other tools. So for free, And you can do all of this in like 5 minutes for free. All of a sudden, you can look at something in a completely different way. So I really recommend you take a look at this. We use this in workshops with board members, with customers, and it completely freaks them out. And as soon as you show them what is possible, they're like really interested in the next step, in the next discussion. And this is great for research, of course. You could put in a bunch of PDFs about what you're talking about there, chemicals or compounds and things like. You could put 50 PDFs in real research papers, and it just analyze that instantly. Then you could manipulate it into a mind map and do all kinds of interesting things. So check that out, definitely. And you have to tell me if I'm taking too long. Why is this still working? Okay. So, but what I do is also combine this with other tools. So who uses ChatGPT or Grok or Claude or what do you guys use? ChatGPT, the free version or the pay one? Free works good enough, yeah. Everyone else use ChatGPT around here. Copilot, yeah, okay. But I mean, what I find is really good is like that mind map. You could take a photograph of it with your phone and upload it into ChatGPT and then have it analyze that and then go back and forward. And so you can combine all these different tools in very interesting ways. It's a Buddha. The first thing that we use is what we call red team, blue team. So sometimes when we're with a company leadership team, we will split them in half. We will put half in one room and give them notebook and give them ChatGPT, and we'll put the other half in another room, and they have 1 hour. And the blue team has to find ways of using AI to improve their business, new ideas, new capabilities. The red team have to try and destroy the business or create a startup that kills the business. And that's fun. And basically, they're both learning how to use AI at the same time in a practical way. And then what we do is we bring them back together and try and find out ways where we can actually enhance the business. So you can use all of these tools in really interesting ways. This is another good way to use this notebook LM. It's if you want to learn about a company. So for example, I don't know, FinVector or Ponsa or anyone around the region or internationally, you just say, go and tell me everything about this company. Go into LinkedIn and also tell me about the executives, the engineers, all of this stuff is public data. Yeah. And then suck it into this tool and analyze it. This is great preparation to do go for a job interview, for example, because what you can also do is bring in technology trends. They might be doing R&D in something, say forestry or chemicals or something or water. And you can put all of that source in here. And you're so prepared for that discussion. You can even demonstrate how you've done this in Barney. So you can start impressing it in different ways. And if I go back to your point where you can go work for a company for a number of 2 months, was it? Or 2 months? If you bring this in on the first day and start showing them how they can use it, you will extend your value. Yeah. And you will show a immediate impact in terms of what you can do. So it's also great for understanding markets, yeah, where markets are going. But when you combine that also with technology and R&D and things like that, it's very powerful. And then, of course, using back and forward with the ChatGPT or the Copilot or the Grok. I use the Grok a lot because I like the way it talks to me. It's quite rude sometimes, but it's quite funny as well. But ChatGPT Plus is also very, very big as well. But they're all kind of the same. We talked about research and tech trends, which is a very, very powerful opportunity here. One of the other things I did the other day, some research, was I asked ChatGPT, tell me who's applied for funding research in Kuopio in the last 2 years, which SMEs. And within like 5 minutes, I got a structured report actually showing me which SMEs in this region And I also extended it to Yonsor because of UEF bridge, which companies have applied for funding for R&D and actually received it. And what are they doing? That's like really powerful, because then while you're studying, or if you're building a startup, you're looking for new customers, all of a sudden you can start thinking, well, there's a market there, or there will be a market when they've completed that R&D. So that's really cool. And then of course your own career. So you can put your own skills in there, but you can also upload, maybe you've been working on research projects, or you've also got other ideas. You load all of those into your own personal notebook, create a mind map of it, create a podcast of your own career journey so far, of your ambitions. You can use that in some very interesting ways as well. Any thoughts or questions about this? It basically just opens up a whole world of opportunity. This simple free tool, and it's Google, so you can kind of trust it. It's great for external data. I wouldn't upload client data, for example, or salary data or stuff like that. Anything that's out there, you can just put it in with it.
I have one question. From the hiring perspective, do you think that there will more demand for things that include talent?
Yeah, I'll show you in a minute. Have you seen my presentation already?
No.
Okay, let's just check. Let's see. Yeah, so I basically just use all of these like in advance, and my partners, they do the same. And we actually talk to the AI before we talk to each other. And it's but we also sometimes have you used the ChatGPT image recognition and voice? Let me try this here. Let me try them. Hi, Charlie, are you there?
Hey, yep, I'm here. What's up?
Yeah, can you translate this for me, and can you respond in English?
Sure, this flyer is about a mentoring program. It explains that the program offers an opportunity to get to know the skills of internal.
Oh, well, stop. Can you continue and finish?
Totta kai. Tässä esitteessä kerrotaan
No.
mentoroinnin.
Sorry, can you jump to Portuguese?
Claro, este folheto fala sobre programa de.
Okay, so this is super cool. And you can use it for workshops. Say you're drawing something on the whiteboard, or an architecture or something like that. I could turn Charlie off if she listens to all of it. You could, say you draw just a sketch of a architect or some compounds or chemicals or something, and then what you want it to do is go away and do some deeper analysis, and then it pop up on your laptop. Pick that up and drop it on. So it's also great for business modeling if you're a startup or you want to start. So this is super powerful. And then of course they've all got these voice capabilities now and image recognition, so you can use any of them. It's also dangerous, yeah. The other aspect of this is keeping an eye on some of the newer things that are happening, not necessarily in the apps themselves. So this is a guy I follow on YouTube called Matt Berlin. This morning he posted this video about Google Gemini's their AI apps new capabilities around simulation. So basically you type in another prompt and then create this game, and then it immediately creates it in a workshop perfectly. And the same with this Rubik's Cube, which is 20 by 20. And then it was in the video, he's showing the real-time simulation of how it's being created after the prompt. And it's pretty amazing stuff. So, and then here's another example. This is a really cool example. I can play it later, where he uploaded a video for YouTube, a YouTube video of this simulation, and then typed, recreate this with Gemini. And then again, it put it in a single shot, and it had a 3D movie simulation. So now you've got these capabilities in your pockets. So the question is now, what can you do with that? For me, I'm always thinking about how do I simulate a business or an industry or a market? And this is super powerful, because if you think about trying to render a cloud 3D object like that, it's very complicated. But a business, it has a lot of different moving parts and variables, so you could actually simulate a business for this as well. So lots of really cool stuff to watch out for. And then the other thing, which is like really interesting for anyone working in science, does anyone follow Google DeepMind? So Google DeepMind, it's obviously the deep research element of Google, and they invented all this AlphaGo, AlphaFold for protein folding, and all of these other capabilities. What you really need to take a look at some of the research papers and examples that are coming out of this, then we can check that out, put it into Google Notebook LM to summarize it. And then the Future House, they're also doing a lot of rendering of 3D objects of, complex, discovering new materials and molecules and manufacturing processes. So soon, pretty much all of this kind of stuff will be in our pockets as well. So when you're doing research or you're working on R&D with one of the local SMEs or someone in another country, all of a sudden you can render ideas, you can run simulations, and that's going to be really powerful. So on the one hand, you've got these business AI capabilities that I demonstrated, but now all of a sudden you've got these scientific capabilities as well. So when you combine that, it's like, well, actually, I got I went into ChatGPT and asked it to do an analysis of all of the small and medium enterprises in North Savo. And what it did was it actually, I think it created, it put some, let me get back. You could do that for startups. You could do that for venture capital. You could do that for that kind of analysis in ChatGPT. Do me a analysis of every single company that's received venture funding in North Savo in 2024, or Business Finland funding, for example. Yeah. So lots of different opportunities there. I work a lot with these SMEs because they, they're profitable usually. They've been going for a long time. They've got customers. A lot of them do R&D, and